Hello, internet friends. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Blue Sky Sanctuary. That's my property in the Baja in Mexico. It's also my YouTube channel where I'm sharing everything that I can that I've learned through my own personal experience living here, purchasing property, and also building on that property, all for a pretty tiny budget. Today, I have chapter 5. It's the final installment of a little mini series that I've done that has shared an overview of what it's been like to build here in Mexico. Today, it's an overview of the whole 4 years that I've owned the property. On the other side of the footage, I will tell you what I've learned foremost from my experiences and what is coming up next. So that is where the majority of my energy has gone for the last 4 years, is creating what you just saw. And what I learned foremost from this whole experience is that it was totally worth it. I'm grateful to say all the challenges that I moved through and learning a new language, being away from the familiarity and comfort of my home in Canada, it's all been worth it because I now sit in a home on a property that has no mortgage attached to it. And that provides a lot of financial freedom. And freedom is one of the most important elements in life for me. And so I really value what I've created here. And if you didn't catch chapter 4, I'll share what I shared in that video, which is that this actually has provided value to someone else as well, because I decided to sell this property. It was never in my plans. This has been a total labor of love. And the whole time that I've been working on things here, I thought that I was creating something of a forever home for myself. But when the idea and the opportunity was put in front of me to sell it, it was just a no-brainer. The opportunity to take everything that I've learned here and put it into something fresh and new and do it better and smarter was just too good to say no to. And so the new Blue Sky Sanctuary is going to be up the hill from here. And I look forward to taking these things that I'm about to share with you into that new property. So the things that I learned that are kind of more tangible and useful. If I reach back to 4 years ago when I first purchased this property, I was pretty picky. I wanted a place where I'd be able to see the ocean and that view would always be unobstructed. And I found that. I also wanted to be close to amenities, connected to power and water provided by the city, and not have neighbors too close. I would manage to find all of that. But one thing I didn't look for that I'm accounting for in my next property is pedestrian traffic and how invasive it is on privacy. So I happen to be located on a pretty popular pedestrian walkway, and I was conscious of roads and how that would impact my privacy, but pedestrians impact privacy even more because they go by so slowly. So if you're going to be looking for property, I recommend that you look for those pathways because it's easy for them to go unnoticed until you're living on the property and then people are just walking by all the time. For me, privacy is really important, so that's something I'm prioritizing at the next place. The next thing has to do with gardens. I was so excited to have this big property and I really tried to beautify the whole thing. We made gardens everywhere. And what I've learned over the years is that lots of gardens means lots of maintenance. It's lots of work. Even if you do what I did with the landscaping tarp and the sand, there's still a lot of maintenance and they also require a lot of water. I'm taking from this to my next property, minimal garden and maximum let Mother Nature take care of it. Especially here in the Baja, if you don't touch it, it looks quite beautiful just by nature. It kind of looks like a rock garden. And that way I'll be using much less of this super valuable resource here in the Baja, which is water. Speaking of which, the foremost focus for my next property is going to be sustainability. The foremost focus here was budget, because I had a limited budget to do what I wanted to do. Now that that has changed, I can focus on even better things, which is how to be conscious of the environment and my impact on the resources in Mexico, especially being a Canadian living here. I want to make sure that I'm using as little of that as possible. I'm going to be reusing the gray water and utilizing solar power and a whole lot more on that in future videos. But for now, suffice to say, less finished gardens, more leaving it to Mother Nature. And one more note on the gardens is the foremost lesson that I took from the hurricane that hit, which is that reinforcing things with cement is totally worthwhile. I had nothing reinforced with cement, so when that hurricane came, it took 80% of the fence down and it washed away half my gardens. So we've since reinforced like the borders of the garden beds with cement in between the rocks, and we've put the posts from the fence into cement, and we've had a good bit of rain since then, not a hurricane, but a good downpour, and things are holding in place a lot better. So that's it for the property. As for the house and what I learned foremost, my biggest takeaway is that it needs shade around it. So I'm not going to plant a bunch of trees at the next house, but I am going to build palapas off the 2 walls that get hit by the sun all day. A cinder block house is just like a pizza oven. So the sun is hitting it and the bricks heat up, and then the heat is held inside. And so that's really hard on power consumption. I have to run the AC 24/7 to keep it just reasonable inside the house. So the shade will go a long way to helping keep the house cool. Believe it or not, that's all that I have to share with you today for what I learned for the house. I did share as I went, chapters 1 through 4. If you haven't seen them, maybe you want to check them out. But I did tell you what I was learning as I was learning it. So these are just the final takeaways as I look back over this whole experience of the 4 years of creating what I've created here. Having a team and people around you who know what they're doing is essential. There was decades of experience between all of the people that helped participate to build this house, and I am super grateful to them. And basically, it is a relatively simple process. It's not easy. Don't let me sugarcoat it for you, but it is simple, especially when you have people who know what they're doing surrounding you. Through these videos, I don't want to encourage you or discourage you to do what I've done. I just want to share my honest experience so you can maybe learn vicariously through me or decide for yourself if this is something that you want to do. It has been totally worthwhile, as I said at the beginning, and so I'm super grateful to have done what I've done and be sitting where I am now and ready to move forward to do this again and to do it even better. I'm really grateful to be sharing this journey with you. If you have any questions or ideas for future videos, please put them in the comments. I love hearing from you. If you want to be notified when my next video is ready for you to see, just subscribe to the channel and you'll get that notification. And I think that's it for today. I look forward to sharing way more videos with you to come. I will catch you again on the next one. Having a beauty of a sun shower. And those posts you see there are the corners of my house.